if you are sitting on your best spot when that window opens, you are golden. If you've given up your best spot during that time window, you could be in trouble if somebody else is sitting on their best spot during that window.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your fearless host, Angie Scott.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. I'm Angie Scott, and I'm really excited because I've got someone who I've been talking with for quite a while now, and just for whatever reason haven't had on the show. I mean, we were going to try to do an in-person in Nashville, and with everything that happened this year, it just didn't work out. So Barbara Harris, welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. You're in the car, you're on your way somewhere. What's going on? This is exciting.
I am on my way to Hartwell, Georgia. It is a very last-minute decision within the last couple of days. I am going to fish as a co-angler for Lake Hartwell with the Lady Bass Anglers Association.
Nice. And
so I am on my way.
And you just passed through Tennessee. Unfortunately, it just wasn't quite my neck of the woods of Tennessee on your way.
So I am actually right by Knoxville.
Gotcha. And is this is your first LBA event this year? Have they had any this year so far?
They had only one tournament so far, and that was at Lake Pickwick.
Okay.
So this is their second event, and they had 3 co-anglers that had to cancel last minute. So they posted in the beginning of the week if anybody can make it. And I'm like, it's really hard for me to schedule out in advance, and so this was the perfect opportunity for me to just say, you know what, I'm going to do it.
Awesome. I love it. Love doing stuff spur of the moment. So we've talked about LBA on the show before. You're actually the one who kind of really introduced me and connected me with Cheryl and Secret. And, we had Cheryl on the show, one of the founders. And it was just really cool getting to learn more about that organization. How did you get involved with it?
When I came back home from college and I had started fishing, tournaments again with my dad, I really just wanted to start fishing more tournaments and stuff with females and start just getting into more competitive fishing. And I just started doing Google searches, and I had just happened to find them during their opening season. And I called Cheryl up, and I'm just like, hey, I've never done anything like this. Could you tell me more about it? And she was just so welcoming and, just told me everything about it. And it was their first year, and she was honest, like, hey, we just started this. We're actually having our opener at Lake Dardanelle coming up. Like, they hadn't even actually had their first tournament yet. And I was just like, I'm so excited. I love it. I want to do it. And I was at the opener at Lake Dardanelle, and that was in 2010.
Wow. So
10
years ago.
Yeah. This is their 10-year anniversary. This is their 10th anniversary year. They're still going strong, and I love these girls to death. I'm so excited to be coming down here.
That's awesome. So you've had over the 10 years that you've been involved with LBA, you've had some pretty phenomenal experiences and have made a lot of memories. Is there like a story or two that you could share? I mean, I know it's probably hard to pick something out, but I know I've heard you tell a couple of them before, so.
Oh, goodness. It depends on if I want to get, like, sappy, if it's just, you know, funny stories. I mean, there's so much, and there's so much on different anglers. I mean, there's one just in general, like, one of the tournaments that was, I believe it was in 2011. I was supposed to fish with Kathy Majors, and she was a huge influence with women's fishing, like way back.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, she decided to come and fish as a boater. And I had picked her for day 2. And she ended up getting a call in the middle of the night after day 1, and she ended up not being able to fish. Well, I didn't find that out until like at the ramp, and you know, the director, Cheryl and Secret, they're all trying to figure out what to do with me. I drove from Kentucky to Texas.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I put money into that trip. You know, they're like, well, we can't just leave this girl on the bank and all of us go fishing. You know, so They tossed around all these ideas and wanting to still make it fair for the other tow anglers, and that's difficult to do, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so Cheryl, you know, this was Cheryl Bowden, the co-founder, and so she talked to her tow angler, which happened to be a lady named Vicky, who honestly I haven't seen her since 2011. I don't think she fishes anymore. Who is just like the sweetest and funniest girls you could ever meet. And Cheryl talked to her, and Vicky is just like, well, I don't care if she fishes with us, just tell her to come on. And Cheryl was just like, you know what? We're all going to go out together, and all 3 of us are going to bring in a limit. And let me tell you what, she was not lying.
Wow.
We ended up, all 3 of us came in with a limit, and Cheryl ended up coming. I don't know what place she was in when we went out that day. Cheryl ended up winning that tournament because I think she had over 20 pounds that day.
Wow.
And I always tell Cheryl, I'm like, yeah, you can thank me for that because I was your professional netter that day. Like, if I wasn't doing something else, then I was netting her fish because she called all day long. And I'll tell you what, we had the most fun that day. Just the laughing and joking and the stories that happened. And, you know, Cheryl didn't have to do that by the rules.
Right.
But they were not going to let me sit on the bank that day.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that was, you know, that was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
But it just seems like somebody's always, you know, someone's fallen in the lake or something, you know, something goofy is always happening. But I'll tell you what, when the chip is down for one of the anglers, they're family.
Yeah.
They're absolutely family. And they were there for me. You know, when I ran through the toughest point in my life, they all came together. They had where they took donations for me. They had me come to Kentucky Lake. They surprised me, and they had me fish a tournament. And this wasn't in the plans. I actually ended up winning the tournament.
That's amazing.
But they knew that I was getting really depressed, and they actually just took me down there so that I could be with my friends. And people don't just do that, you know, like that's just the strength of this group, you know, is to pick up each other. You know what I mean? Like, it's just phenomenal.
So amazing to be a part of a group like that. That's just family and everybody's got each other's back. You're competing against each other, but you've also got this connection, you know, and
oh, absolutely.
And that's so cool. And I'm so glad you get the chance to be with them this weekend. So when this episode comes out, it'll be right after the weekend. So hopefully everything goes well and you have a great time.
It's hard for me to plan out trips like this because of my health, like the deadlines for the tournaments and planning and stuff. I don't know how my health is going to be. So that's why it's so hard for me to plan out. And this was just perfect because I'm like, you know what? I'm doing okay right now. I can go. And, of course I would love, I'm so super competitive. So of course I want to come down here and win, but I'm excited to see my friends. That is 95% of the reason that I'm coming down here is because I want to see the girls. And that's the main purpose. But don't get me wrong, I would love to go home with a trophy.
Right. Icing on the cake.
Exactly.
Especially this year. I mean, just because it's been so crazy. I mean, we've had to be isolated more than ever, and I'm sure.
Right. Exactly.
Yep. So of all the, you said you joined with them the inaugural year. Do you know how many tournaments you've fished over the years with them? Do you have like a count or?
I mean, because I fished, I fished the one in Dardanelle. I fished the whole season of 2011. And I fished the one in 2015. And then I don't know how many I have fished like on and off on the years, just randomly in between. Because there hasn't been that many, like on and off, just random, like, hey, I'm just going to go. Right. Because I know that I've had a 4th place, a 3rd place, and a win.
Nice.
And I think that's all the hardware I've gotten.
Gotcha. Well, maybe you get some more this weekend.
Oh, goodness. I'm hoping. I know that I know who my draw is tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
I do. My draw for day 1 is Secret York.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
It is. Yeah, I'm super excited. She is just so much fun. Plus her accent is super funny.
Well, we didn't get a chance to interview her when, we were hoping there was a chance she might come down when you helped us coordinate the Nashville Boat Show live show where a bunch of the LBA ladies came out and we got to sit down and kind of interview them one-on-one in front of an audience, which was really cool. But Secret was potentially going to come down for that and ended up not working out. So I still have yet to really have a conversation with her and haven't met her yet. So.
Oh, she's a hoot. You're going to love her.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance sometime soon, but that's awesome. You're fishing with her day 1. That's exciting.
Yeah, I am really excited about it. She's just a great person, just all around. And, there's just nothing that she wouldn't do for anybody. She's just one of those people.
Nice. Love those kind of people. You're one of those kind of people. I mean, you're one of those types of people that goes out of their way to do things for other people. And you're one of the main reasons why we were able to pull off that 2019 Best Outdoor Podcast from the Outdoor Media Summit fan voted award, because that was a stretch for us to be able to get enough votes to beat out the girl camping podcast.
Hey, I did not mind doing that one bit. You guys absolutely deserved it. And I mean, I appreciate you saying that, but I put my efforts where they're deserved. And, you guys, I mean, you worked your butts off, and what you guys do is, I mean, it's amazing. And the accomplishments you've had in such a short amount of time is amazing. I mean, you guys have done stuff that people have tried to do, that men have tried to do, and they haven't succeeded. And you guys are, I mean, you have the odds stacked against you from the beginning.
Right.
And you guys are knocking it out of the park. And, you know, honestly, there's very, very few people in our industry that are able to do what you all have done.
Uh-huh.
And for you guys to do it in such a short amount of time, and also to have additional, you know what I'm saying, to have additional, you know, barriers that you guys have to get through.
Right.
It's amazing, and I'm super glad that I was able to help. I'll admit, it was definitely nerve-wracking those last couple of hours. But when I was texting you, and I just had this calmness about it, and you know, I'm usually pretty good under pressure, and I just had this calmness about it. That's why I was just like, we've got this. It's cool. And I just wasn't worried about it. I just felt like you guys were going to win, you know?
Well, I was not calm and cool. I was like half the time wanting to give up and just say, screw it, throw in the towel. But it was you. And then we also had Patty from Woman Anglers of Minnesota, like pushing on her channels, and Paula Smith, her catfishing channels, and between the three of you all just fighting so hard, I was like, I can't give up.
I would have never let you do that.
And we pulled it off, and bummer that, you know, I was supposed to fly out to Colorado for the summit, and they actually invited me to be on a panel as well. And then the awards got, you know, canceled because of COVID. So we're hoping they had mentioned. Yeah, exactly, like everything else did. So they had, I think there was talk about it getting rescheduled for October, but that's kind of coming up now, and I haven't really heard any updates. So I'm wondering if they might just be shooting for 2021 at this point. But anyway, it was still cool. Right. It's still a huge honor to be able to say that we were the best outdoor podcast of 2019, and that it was fan voted, and that you could only vote once. So it wasn't like if you had a core group of 10 people that were going and voting every day, or however, it was like one and done. You can only vote one time. And so to get that many votes to pull that off, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And I had that kind of same feeling that you did too. Like, oh man, maybe they are sandbagging, you know, where they're like, well, let's let them get comfortable.
Yep.
You know, and thinking that they've got a big lead, and then like it, 11:56.
Exactly.
We'll have, 1,000 votes go through. I was kind of nervous about some little game like that, but that was about the only thing. So I was so excited for you guys, and that's, 2018, 2019, that's just the beginning for you guys. It's just the beginning.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I don't have any plans for quitting anytime soon. It's kind of had to scale back a little bit, back to one episode a week to have enough time to do it. But I enjoy it, and it's I enjoy the impact, to see the positive impact it's having, and it's fun getting to meet people like you, other people I've had on the show. Like now I've gone fishing with Brittany Howard twice, and we're probably going to go again soon. I mean, who would have thought, it's a little podcast about women fishing could turn into something like this. So
I know, could turn into like you just meeting and fishing with so many like-minded women, and eventually you're going to have to fish with me. You can only avoid it for so long.
It's going to happen.
Eventually it does have to happen.
Yeah, and we're not that far from each other either. I mean, really. And you fish Dale Hollow, which is one lake I have not been to yet, and unbelievably, I mean, I've talked about it for years and years. So why? Maybe it's because maybe it's because we're supposed to fish it for the first time together. For me, maybe that's wwhy I haven't been there yet.
That could be. I can't believe you haven't fished it though. You
know
that it has the world record smallmouth was caught out of there, right?
I've heard that, yes. So I know.
It is true. I mean, world record, not like...
Wow.
World record. And everybody goes to Dale Hollow to smallmouth fish, and it's like right in your backyard.
I know. It's ridiculous. So...
Although Dale Hollow is never nice to me, I'll tell you that right now.
Really? Is it just tough?
No, it's not. It is super tough. Okay. It is gin clear.
Uh-huh. Which is not what I'm used to, because, like, Percy Priest can be pretty stained, so I'm not used to fishing the clear water. Now, that's what I've heard. I've heard at night you can, like, be floating and see your bottom of your feet just from the moonlight in the water.
Oh, I 100% believe it. 100%.
Wow.
From billion-dollar ad budgets and arena naming rights to tens of thousands of retail locations, big wireless providers spend big to appear like they're your only option. How do they afford it all? That big bill you get at the end of every month. Mint Mobile had a different idea. Instead of brick and mortar overhead, Mint Mobile is online only. What does that mean for you? A whole lot of savings, because wireless plans from Mint Mobile start at just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You'll save enough that you can get a brand new rod and reel for the upcoming season. For anyone who just hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan, and you can even keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. By going online only and eliminating traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That's mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Yeah, we've got to make that happen. Maybe we should just go ahead and, I don't know, when you get back, maybe we'll just go.
We totally can do that. Although, like, I'm even open for doing, Percy Priest. Like, some places on there, or heck, we can do anything. I don't care. We just got to fish.
So, what's your favorite? Do you have a favorite body of water of all the places? I mean, we're talking Texas, Georgia, all the places you've been. Is there one that kind of holds near and dear to your heart?
Oh, goodness. Well, if I could go back to one place that I fished, it would be Lake El Salto in Mexico.
Nice. That's where they did the one boat challenge. Did you watch that show? The Minn Kota, one boat challenge.
I heard about it, but I didn't actually watch it.
Okay.
Somebody was telling me about it.
We did a podcast episode when I interviewed Bad Ash, who was one of the contestants on that One Boat Network, I think is what it was. And that's where they were. So what was it about that body of water that you would want to go back to?
Well, I went with, when I went to met up with the ladies and went to Lake Dardanelle, that's where I met two of the ladies that fished the LBAA, Robbie Hartline and Linda Gessner. Okay. And they actually had a trip planned to go there that November. And they're like, oh, it's prime time to go around, the prime topwater time to go around Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh man, you can't say something like that to me. And, and so they're like, hey, we'll give you the information of, the resort, the guy and everything. So me and my dad couldn't pass it up, and so heck, we went with them. And, cause they had like a group of 10 people going.
Okay.
And so we all stayed at the same resort, and it was just so much fun. But here's the thing. Me and my dad say that, if we're involved, we can screw up anything. Because now literally we were there on any other year, prime time top water. And the resort tells you what to bring. So we're bringing all these, the huge topwater baits and big lizards and big worms and stuff. Before we got there, there was a hurricane that blew in, and that lake was up 40 feet.
Oh my goodness.
And so the guys are like, well, we're still kind of figuring things out,
Yeah.
But even with those conditions, that lake compared to anything that we could go fish here, it was still a phenomenal,
Wow.
fishery. And I caught my personal best, which was 613. And I beat Linda Gessner that day for big fish. And I think I beat her by 2 ounces, and she had to give me $1.
Nice.
So it was all worth it to me.
So,
and I just love that lake.
And imagine being there when it's not crazy conditions, so.
Oh my goodness. I cannot even, literally they're 2 to 2.5, 3 pounders fight like our, like in my state, like our 5 pounders, 4.5 pounders. So I don't know what they do. I guess maybe it's because they only feed, like there's only 2 fish in that entire lake, and it's tilapia and bass.
Okay.
The bass only eat tilapia or other bass, and that's it.
Wow. Huh.
So it was really nice. Now, as far as for me locally in the state of Kentucky, my favorite lake is Barren River.
Okay.
So
And what makes that your favorite there?
I think it appeals to my strengths, but it might only appeal to my strengths because we fished it in the spring too. It's but it's more stained. I don't like clear water either. And it has a little bit of everything. You can fish deep, but it has points, and it has deep walls. It has a lot of wood. It has rock. It has red clay banks. So, you have to check out a lot of things to try to get a pattern. But if you have enough time, you can usually put something together.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
Cool. Well, yeah, you might like Percy Priest then, because it's got a lot of variety to it. So maybe.
Well, good.
Come out here and you might teach me some things. Actually, I shouldn't say might. I know you will teach me some things.
Maybe
question.
I might not.
No.
I might not teach you a daggone thing.
Hey, you've already taught me a lot just from watching your YouTube videos, so I can imagine having some one-on-one time.
Hopefully, I don't know. It's, sometimes, hey, I get skunked all the time. I go out and can't even get an 8-inch fish all the time.
Yeah.
They say that bass are the most predictable fish. And, I think that's BS. When Mother Nature just says, you are not eating today.
Right.
Or shut them down, or don't eat in the next 6 hours. They're the most obedient things, I think, in the world. And on days like that, I 100% believe that you have to be in the right place in the right time. And if you're in the right place at the right time, then it's your day.
Yeah. Yep.
I 100% believe that, and I have a million examples, but I won't tell none of them, but I 100% believe that.
Yeah, it's hard just when you think you have them figured out, which, believe me, I've never even gotten close to that point, but then something changes and then it's like, what's going on? So they are tricky. And I mean, you can be in the right place at the right time, but what about having the right bait? I mean, how important is that? I mean, the right color, the right, just the right little nuance sometimes.
I know.
It's crazy.
And it is hard to believe that they can be that picky.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I can't imagine, like, if I'm hungry, and like if I'm really hungry, I can't imagine being like, I'm not taking that chicken tender, I want that chicken nugget. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they can be that picky with, I don't want a 6-inch worm. I want a 4-inch worm.
I know.
I don't want green pumpkin. I want watermelon.
It's so crazy.
I know. And it can make it really, really tough. And, on those days, the people who can keep their frustrations limited and, try to focus on, the puzzle about it, like, they ain't going to beat me. I'm going to figure this out. Who can keep it more about the challenge between them and the fish instead of them and everybody else. I mean, yeah, we all get frustrated. I will get more frustrated if I don't change my way of thinking. Right. So I try to keep it between me and the fish instead of, oh my God, everybody's out here catching all the fish other than me. And I'll just start getting frustrated more.
How long do you stay on a spot that's not producing? Like, I kind of had this conversation a little bit with Terry, because Terry Sindrick, who also fished with LBAA, and she's doing a kayak angler trail, just won a tournament, or actually second place in big fish in a tournament out here on Percy Priest very recently, a night tournament. And so I was kind of picking her brain a little bit because I've been struggling so much lately, and she was giving me some pointers. But when you're kayak fishing, you can't just run from spot to spot to spot like you can when you're in a bass boat. So are you one that kind of stays?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point about that. I never even thought of that, because I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what she said, and I won't ask you to say what she said because I don't know how, open she is with the public or anything. But I do know how she fishes in a bass boat, but for me, it depends. I mean, it depends on how the bite has been all day, and did it shut down all of a sudden, and am I on a spot that has, have I caught several fish in one spot, or has it been in an area, like on one bank? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I've caught fish, like multiple fish on one point, and it just shut down. If I can see them on my electronics, and so I know that they're there, and it just shut down, I might hang out for a little bit, because it might have been a window. You know what I mean? I'm one that 100%, I believe in windows. I think that they exist, and I think that they play a huge role in the tournament. Like, I think that if, now I've got all that stuff too. It ain't never been right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it ain't never been right. So, I mean, it depends. If I'm going down a bank and I've caught them, you know, just in an area, but it just completely shuts down. And when I say like completely shuts down, if I'm not getting, you know, bites for, I say 100 yards, then I want to pick up and move.
Right.
Gotcha. You know, and I might focus on, you know, instead of a bank, I might start running points. I might start running secondary points or pockets, you know, just something else.
Cool. Well, let's shift gears real quick before we start wrapping this up, because I know you have a lot of awesome sponsors. I've seen your jersey. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about some of your sponsors, and also maybe just, I know we have a lot of aspiring anglers out there who are, you know, just getting started or wanting to fish tournaments and stuff like that and might be looking for sponsors. So I know you have a great relationship with yours, and maybe just kind of give a few pointers on, we've talked about this on the show, but it's been a long time. Just pointers on like keeping sponsors happy and just building those relationships.
First and foremost, I would say, and this is, I probably don't even need to say this because everybody's on social media, and the younger you are, the more social media accounts that you have. But no matter what type of sponsorship that you're going after, what type of company, one of the first things that they're going to ask you is, how many followers do you have on each platform? And, you know, so you do need to be active, and you need to be actively engaged on those platforms. And I would work on building those platforms. I would not, however, recommend on just accepting anybody and everybody on those platforms, because quality does matter. You know, you don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity.
Right.
You know, so really work to have a good, engaging audience on your platforms that knows you, interact with you. And when you're on your page, you know, pages, have a positive attitude, have positive interactions with people, because people, you know, sponsors, companies are not going to want to deal with somebody who's always negative. That's not the type of people they want to represent them. They want somebody who can have good relationships with potential customers, or, you know, people that they meet at tournaments, or just, you know, just in general. You know, so always keep stuff like that in mind when you're on social media, because you never know who's going to be looking at your page in 5 years.
Right. Yeah, that's smart.
So that would be like advice, especially if you're a high school angler, a college angler, you know, even if you're my age. But just stuff like that to keep in mind. And you know, nowadays, doing videos is a huge part of the industry, and now it's getting bigger. You know, everybody wants videos done. You know, whether you're doing it to YouTube, posting it to Facebook, you know, stuff like that. As far as me, I like to represent smaller companies, the ones that I personally use, that I can personally vouch for, that I like and respect the owners. There's nobody on my jersey who doesn't know me if I call them up.
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody on my, you're on my jersey.
I know. I was just thinking that. I'm like,
you know, you're on my jersey. Look, we're talking. You know me. You know, but I have a personal relationship with me, or with everyone on my jersey, and I know anything that anybody could ask me. Well, most things that they could ask me about their product, what I recommend, and that's what I like about it. I'm not going to I'm not a pirate patch.
right.
You know, or no, a patch pirate. That's what it is. And so that's just me, though. And Zoom, they don't need anybody. You know, it just doesn't serve me. I want to help out the people that need it,
mm-hmm.
the people that work hard for it. And these are companies that I was like, hey, I really like that bait. Who is this? And so some of the people that, you know, like I'll talk about from my jersey, I have Jack Lures. And this comes to mind because I just posted a video. If it wasn't for him, I would not have come in third place at Green River. I just put this out today on YouTube. He had sent me his glide bait that is just phenomenal. And since this isn't going to be posted until Tuesday, then this is okay because I am going to throw the crap out of it. He sent me a whole box of other crankbaits. And one of the crankbaits that he has sent me, I caught every fish at Green River on his crankbait. And he makes like just tons of great topwaters, crankbaits, anything like that. He has a frog and buzz. That's awesome. So Jack Lures, you can find his stuff all over my social media. Six Gill Fishing, I'm telling you, when it comes to the money for the quality, you cannot beat them. They do reel, buy one, get one free, rod, buy one, get one free. And I'm telling you, when we are out there, I know you have a sponsor. It's with Quantum, right?
Quantum, actually not a real sponsor. I do get a discount on them through one of my memberships with, I think it's the NPAA. So not an official sponsor, but I do like their reels.
Okay, well, when we fish together, I am going to let you use my Six Gill fishing gear.
Okay.
And I just want you to do a review, a comparison just for me. because I'm telling you, you cannot beat the prices on that stuff. And I will put it up against all of your Quantum stuff if you'll give an honest review about it. That's how confident I am in it.
Okay. All right.
So, love Six Gill. Runkle, they have, I mean, these are companies for the everyday angler. They just give you quality gear, you know, for good prices. And that's what I love about them. And, you know, FX3, that's Fishing Family Forever. They are, you know, actually they're a nonprofit. They just help to combat veteran suicide. Wolfpack, they actually went out of business. Marty's Lures went out of business. You know, the COVID's really hitting people hard, you know, which I hate to hear, but it's true. And I have my boy Cowboy Coffee too, which is he says the cup in a pinch. And I actually use this when I am on the water because it helps to give me my caffeine without having to drink so much coffee, and I don't have to pee as much.
Ah, smart.
Yeah, so, but love him to death, and it actually, he developed it so that it helps people tobacco. So he's at cowboycoffee2.com. And those are some of the people that, you know, I help to represent. And then Two Fresh Fishing, that's some really good soft plastic, and Loose Lures. printbase.com for custom printing.
Nice.
Great people.
Awesome. Well, I'll put links to those in the show notes to help support your sponsors, and also a link to your Twitter so people can go follow you on Twitter and Instagram, and also your YouTube channel, which I highly recommend that everybody go subscribe. You post some really, really informative videos, inspirational videos, just everything fishing related. I recommend people go check out your channel.
I am going to start doing some more informational things because the plan was for me to do more of that, and then COVID type stuff started, and it's just been kind of crazy. You know, I went to the Mayo Clinic and all that, so I am going to do more of that. That's my word.
Awesome. Well, good luck this weekend. I can't wait to hear all about it and how you do, and more importantly, just reconnecting with everybody. And I'm excited for you.
Thank you. I will certainly keep you updated.